Adam Sweders is the creator, producer, and host of Wine Rival, which is coming to us September 22nd, where wine fans can go head-to-head with professionals for a chance to win $15,000. Adam, it's so great to see you.
It's great to see you too again, Rudy. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about how this is going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wine Rival, which was formerly Som Madness, and just a little insider info, it was getting so popular that the NCAA one day decided to send me a letter in the mail saying, let's change the name on this. And I said, okay. So we changed the name, rebranded to Wine Rival. We're back, but essentially that's what it is. It's my attempt to turn blind wine tasting into the next World Series of poker, like turning it into an actual sport. So it's set up just like March Madness. Contestants go head to head. They try to identify a wine without knowing what it is. It's just poured in the glass, and they advance and they move on. And the winner takes home $10,000. Second place gets $3,000, and third and fourth both get $1,000. So that's the competition portion of the event. But what's really cool, especially what I think is the best part of it, is there's a giant 3-hour walk around tasting while this is happening. So people who are ticket holders get to come in. They can taste upwards of 300 different wines, all premium level wines, food. There's a DJ booth. There's amazing things going on to keep the entertainment going while the competition is going on, so they can chime in, chime out, and just really be a part of something really exciting and unique.
That's awesome. Obviously someone wants to study ahead of time. We got a couple of weeks before the actual event.
Yep.
As far as tasting and notes and what you should be looking for, what's something that someone can try to do if they want to, go ahead and go into this competition, but something that they can learn, at home over these next couple of weeks?
Yeah, for sure. So it's somewhat simpler than it looks. It's very intimidating, but wine is generally simple. And what they need to do is they definitely need to practice. You don't need to have the best palate, but you have to have a little bit of education to back that up. So you're going to look at a few different things that they're going to require you to taste, but a lot of it can do just based on the sight. So you're just looking at a wine, just color, right? So if it's a lighter bodied wine, you can already narrow it down to like cooler climates and really narrow down where in the world it's coming from, the acid levels, the alcohol levels, just based on looking at the wine. If it's big and black and full, well, then it's a really big, voluptuous wine. It's coming from a hot climate, all right? So now all of a sudden I've narrowed down the other half of the world. I know those certain grape varietals. I know those alcohol contents, the level of acidity that's normally in those, whether it has oak or not. It's 10-point, like abbreviated scale based on the Court of Master Sommelier's examination. And it really is just kind of it's a process of elimination, Rudy. It's not guessing exactly what it is. It's taking everything that it isn't out and then trying to narrow down what it is for your final answer.
Especially over the past couple of years with the pandemic, and especially the early part of it, a lot of people were at home having happy hour, Zoom with their friends.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I feel like
they should all be pros. They should all be pros by now. Yes. So yeah, it really is. It's just it's kind of a math problem plus geography plus history plus a Rolodex of what's in your head. It helps to have a good palate, but I think we all kind of have good palates. We all know what it tastes like. We all have taste buds and stuff like that. So, it's a combination of those things, but mostly it's there to have a great time, enjoy wine, and have a great evening. That's what Wine Rival is really about.
And there's also a charity component to it. Tell us a little bit about that.
There is. So I'm so happy to announce that the charity is the Balance Project. I've been working with the Balance Project for a little over a year, and they're a mental health focused charity based out of Highland Park. With the recent events at the 4th of July, they need help now more than ever. It is specifically designed for people who can't afford mental health therapy, so they can work on depression, PTSD, anxiety, anything that deals with mental health. And that's just a community that's really in need right now. So please come out, support, because part of the proceeds does go to their wonderful foundation. And I couldn't be happier to have been involved with them for over a year now, let alone being able to really kind of accelerate things for them in their time of need.
No, exactly. And just, a side note, a side step from wine, but just as we take care of our bodies and our homes, we have to take care of our mental health, just as much. And the less, especially men, take that stigma away and look for help and have resources. I mean, that makes the world a better place.
It really does. And it's still, unfortunately, something that we aren't aren't very comfortable talking about, especially if we deal with it personally. And I think we all deal with it personally to some degree, you know what I mean? But the people who really, really need help, I mean, that's what it's there for.
That's what it's there for.
Yep.
Going back to wine, obviously this event is in September, and we talk about not wearing white after Labor Day, not in our clothing, but as far as like whites after Labor Day, a lot of times people are like, oh, it's colder weather, I'm going to switch to reds, or these are the wines that I'm going to switch up to. But let's talk. You have a couple there as far as like the whites to drink after Labor Day.
I do. Rudy, one of the greatest things about being a sommelier and in the industry, I like to make it so easy and approachable. And my motto is always drink whatever you want when you want to drink it. Don't let people like me tell you what's appropriate. I can help you if you really need it, but whatever makes you happy, that's what we want. But here for the fall, the colder months, I did bring some whites that just kind of go with the seasons a little bit better. The first one is champagne. Champagne is good year round. It never gets old. It always makes people happy. I use it to celebrate, but I also use it just to pair with like a fried chicken dish. That's my favorite thing, fried chicken. I once wrote an article for Forbes pairing McDonald's French fries with Dom Perignon champagne, and it's true. It's amazing. So this is one of my best value champagnes. This is actually coming from Champagne. This is Louis Roederer. You can get this for under $40. It's crazy because champagne's so expensive, and to get that kind of quality wine at that price is kind of unheard of. So champagne's my first pick. My second one is definitely like a wine nerd kind of varietal. It's Domaine Weinbach and it's Gewürztraminer. Okay, so it is kind of in that Riesling world. It might have a little bit of sugar, a lot of lychee fruit, a really complex wine, and it goes really good with two different things. It goes really good with like Asian cuisine, but it's also one of my favorites for Thanksgiving, like turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes. It is perfecto. I highly recommend this year during Thanksgiving, you try a bottle of Gewürztraminer. This is a somewhat pricey one. You can find it for maybe $35, $40 for a bottle of white, but it's not going to break the bank too bad. So Gewürztraminer, try to pronounce it at your store. If they don't, I'm sure they'll be able to help you. And my last one, this is a really cool wine. This is just California Chardonnay. And I love California Chardonnay in the winter because essentially you want bigger, bolder wines as it gets colder, something to warm you up, right? That light crisp is more for summer. And this is Bonanno Chardonnay from California. And what I love about this wine is it's really, really good. If you're a Kendall Jackson Chardonnay fan, you're going to love this wine. And Matt Bonanno, he's the winemaker. He's a local guy here in Chicago. He has his family here. He splits time between, Napa Valley and over here. He's such a wonderful guy. And please support him in Chicago, and really just amazing wine. But these are all really good wines as the temperatures get cooler. And you can drink this in sub-zero temperatures if you want.
I do want to go back to the second wine, the Gewürztraminer, because when you mentioned about bringing it to Thanksgiving, I think a lot of times too, when you have different family members and you're trying to please everybody, people may go towards like a Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc that they're like, I know people are going to drink this, but that's such a crowd pleaser that I feel like someone may not know it, or your aunt may not know it, or your great second cousin may not know it, but they're going to where did you get this?
Yeah. Exactly. And I have an answer for this too, for the people who are like, no, I just like my Pinot Grigio, I just like my Chardonnay. Rudy, you just don't tell them what you're giving them. You just pour it in their glass, and all of a sudden they're like, ooh, this is good. Is this Pinot Grigio? I'm like, no, it's Gewürztraminer. And then they're like, oh, wow, tell me about it. And this is something you can easily find at a Binny's, or a Total Wine or a wine.com. Very easily found, whether it's this exact producer, which this producer is easily found, or any other producer. It's just the great varietal. And as long as they're making good wine, it should all taste in the ballpark of what this one tastes like. So highly recommend that. But again, if you have any of those guests who are like, no, I only like my certain wine, be like, that's exactly what this is. Give a little white lie, Rudy, and then pour it, and then they taste it, and they're like, this is wonderful. I knew I love Pinot Grigio. Oh, really? You actually like Gewürztraminer.
I like the way you think. But kind of in that same vein too is how restaurants change up menus seasonally. Obviously, as you get older, you find something that you really enjoy. So like I made a Sancerre, that's my drink. So it's like, if I'm going to treat myself, that's what I want, but often don't like get away from that, where I kind of look for something along that same vein. But like, how often should you be switching things up and maybe trying something something new, especially as you get older, you kind of get set in your ways.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I'm set in my ways, and I'm a sommelier. So like I have my main varietals that I always go to. They're my go-tos. They're the ones I drink on a normal basis. So for me, it's more about being introduced by someone else. Oh, you got to try this. This is really good. Try this. Or if I'm making specific cuisine, right? So if I have very specific food that I'm making, I know certain wines are going to go better with it, and some wines won't go well with it. So it's like, even when I mentioned with the Gevers Gemini, I know that Asian food in Gevers Gemini go really well. So if I'm going to do Thai tonight, I'm always going to be going Riesling or Gevers Gemini because it's going to pair well. It's going to make the food actually taste better. And then the food actually makes the wine taste better. What I'm not going to do is get a 15%, so this isn't 15%, but a 15% alcohol Cabernet and try to fight it with cayenne pepper, because it's just going to make a fire in my mouth, right? So I'm just trying to figure out what's going to pair well with the food. But yeah, just be adventurous. If you feel like, switching it up on an odd night, you just don't feel like the mood. Like I drink Pinot Noir almost every day. So it's just like occasionally, like I want something else. And tonight it might be Gevers Gemini, but that's always a good way to do it.
And also, the more you get to try, the better you're going to be at a wine rival.
That's true. Yes, there's probably over 50 testable varietals that you may see at Wine Rival. You never know which ones you're going to get hit with, but yeah, it'll definitely help if you broaden your horizon to win $10,000 at Wine Rival.
An event like Wine Rival, $50 to get in, but also 300 different wines that people can try. You can kind of see this fits my palate. This doesn't fit my palate. I love this. I want to have more of this region or this type of wine. So it's a great way to kind of wine tastings are a great way to kind of see what you actually like without having to spend money on new bottles.
100%. I was gonna say, for $50 to be able to taste 300 wines, you're not going to find that, I don't think, anywhere. So that's definitely the night to do it. And obviously, I hope you'll see so many people there. But again, some amazing wines are going to be there to be able to taste.
Awesome, Adam. Thank you so much for your time today. Venue West, 221 North Paulina is where it's taking place. WineRival.com is where you can go ahead and get those tickets. And we'll see you there on the 22nd.
Thanks, Rudy.
Thank you.